Okay, welcome everyone. I am so excited to introduce to you my friend Ariane Resnick. She is a cocktail expert and the author of A Thinking Girl's Guide to Drinking. And she has graciously decided to share some information with us this afternoon. How are you doing, Ariane?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm great. I wanted you to share with my readers and my audience a little bit about yourself. I want to know your background, and I want to know how you became to be an expert in cocktails. Tell us.
I'm a special diet chef, a certified nutritionist, and a public author. The Thinking Girls Guide to Drinking was my second, the first called the Wildflower Miracle. I do mostly work focused on restrictions. So what people can't eat and how to make it seem as normal as possible and how to accommodate as many restrictions as at once. So that's how I got into all of this from a nutrition perspective, combining it with food to create regular. I've been featured in media like CBS, Doctors, Forbes magazine, Huffington Post, Vitamin 29, Men's Fitness, ABC News. There's much. When I did just private chef work, I worked for celebrities like Gwyneth Paltrow and Lisa Edelstein. So that was really how I managed to kind of create a name for myself as a healthy food chef who could make food that seemed really normal out of very clean, whole food ingredients. My new book is The Thinking Girl's Guide to Drinking, Cocktails Without Regrets. It came out in November 2016, and it is just about 120 recipes of cocktails and cocktails made with healthy whole foods as mixers that both help mitigate some of the negative effects of alcohol and also have great on their own.
Awesome! That sounds so exciting. Say one more time the subtitle of your book.
Cocktails Without Regrets.
I think that's something that everybody who's ever had even one too many wishes that they would have employed at the very beginning.
Yes, I came up with the idea because my first book, the Rocktail, I called the Rum Broth Cocktails chapter, was the most popular one.
Oh,
By places like Yahoo Health, that's what they wanted to talk about. And when I was going to, do my next book, the idea of combining healthy things with alcohol to make alcohol less unhealthy was something that I really resonated with the idea and thought would be a lot of fun. And it was. And it turns out that other people think so too, which is wonderful.
great. Could you rewind a touch and tell us about your first book a little bit?
Yeah, it's called The Bone Broth Miracle. It's been the #1 cookbook on Amazon several times. And it's about half the history, usage, and benefits of bone broth and half recipes for bone broth and bone broth foods. And it was a really interesting first book for me because I, for about 30 years, was very vegetarian. So I'm kind of the last person who I ever would have thought would get into that and get so into it that they would write a first book about it. But I had kind of established as an expert in the field as it was becoming popular, and a publisher that was doing a book on it approached me for it, and it was really important to me that my first book have a health-oriented element so that it was obvious I wasn't just a chef, I was someone who used food in a medicinal way, and that's something that I've really come to think of animal products as, rather than just something you could put on your plate for dinner if you want. Just like plants, they have the right ones that have incredible health benefits. Something that I ended up being really happy about.
That's awesome. I love that perspective. I really need to get my hands on that book. Actually, pressure canning is something that's on my goal list for learning more about this year. I've done a little bit of it, pressure canning meat and potatoes and stuff. But I really wanted to really get a lot better and more comfortable with it so I could can bone broth. Sorry, say that one more time.
Canning is so fun.
Oh, yeah.
I love that. It's
I know.
when I have too much of something from the farmer's market and just, yeah, it's always a little scary, the whole botulism thing, but thankfully I've had really good luck with it.
That's great. That's great. That's actually my main jam. Cocktails is my second love, but we can chat about canning all day some other day. What problems can you share that you see from your expert standpoint in store-bought mixers and drinking cocktails straight from the like whatever corner bar you're out with your girlfriends. What problems do you see from a health standpoint or from your professional expertise?
Unfortunately, they are full of like ingredients that you would never eat. And you don't necessarily know what they are because no one pays attention to the ingredients in mixers if they're buying them. And if you go to a bar, they're rarely going to show you the bottle if you ask. Things like sour mix have ingredients like propylene glycol, which is a propellant used for, automobiles. They have, that's outside of the preservatives, the artificial colors, the artificial flavors. They basically are full of things that are going to compound the effects of alcohol to make you feel worse, rather than work against the effects of alcohol to help you feel better. So how you feel is the number one problem with consuming those things along with alcohol. You can have some junk food and be okay, but when you add that with something that has toxins like alcohol, it's less likely you're going to feel all right afterwards. That's why so often we feel so lousy when we drink.
Interesting. Okay, so another way of thinking about that is that drinking alcohol to any excessive degree is probably going to make you feel not so awesome because you will be dehydrated and because of the toxins therein. But the mixers that you probably consume them with is going to make that even worse, right?
And my perspective is from the vantage point that we're all going to drink for the most part, but we're not for the most part going to drink in excess. Generally, unless you're like 21, when you have a cocktail or two, that's what you're having.
Sure.
A drink or two, maybe a few throughout the course of, a long evening.
Right. And even, like I remember, or not remember, but I often think of it like I'm part of a book club and my girlfriends get together once a month and lots of times we're just drinking mocktails, right? Maybe it's not every time. Some of us will have a glass of wine. But if you're just making even an alcohol-free beverage, the mixers that you buy at the grocery store are full of stuff that you don't really want to be drinking or eating at all anyway, right?
No, and there are so few choices for good non-alcoholic beverages, and that's why I made a point of including my book is about 25% mocktails. Because I really felt like even if you're going to not drink, you should have interesting, exciting beverages. Everyone deserves that. Getting stuck with a glass of sparkling water and lime is very sad.
Right. A sad fate for your designated driver, right? Or when you're expecting a baby, or when you just don't want to drink a drink, or
cocktails.
Right.
You're still staying home. It's a social thing to do. Holding something and sipping on something is a social thing to do, and it's a comforting thing to do. So often in social situations, everyone's drinking something.
Of course. Can you share a little bit about maybe the calorie content of store-bought mixers or mixers that are in drinks you'd get at the bar?
They're definitely going to be higher on average than anything you'd make yourself. In the same vein as typically anything you eat at a restaurant is going to have more sugar, more salt, and more fat than anything you'd make yourself. When people are talking commercial and industrial, they're just trying to make it taste good.
And last a really long time on the shelf.
Exactly. So chances are what you would put into your own food, you're not just looking to make it taste as indulgent as possible. So same applies for cocktails. And you can definitely use higher calorie mixers at home. I have a chapter on coconut butter and coconut oil and that sort of thing. I'm very much not a skinny cocktail, low carb, low sugar, low everything advocate.
Right.
Choosing your battles. So I don't have any recipes that are high in sugar and high in fat. Sort of let's reduce at least one of these things because all of them at once isn't going to do anything to help us feel good. And the goal of having a drink or two is just to really feel good, have it taste good and feel good.
Sure. I love that. I love that. If you drink, I remember when I first turned 21 and you're just kind of ordering different things. I remember getting I'm sure there are good daiquiris out there, but I remember I was like, this is a strawberry milkshake. And I feel terrible.
Yeah, when I was very first out and very young, anything that came in a revolving Slurpee machine, which is hilarious because I grew up completely without Slurpees or anything of the sort. So I've never even had the non-alcoholic version of that.
Yeah, it seems very festive, but it just, you feel sick. Your tight dress isn't as cute anymore. You feel awful, and then you have a terrible headache in the morning to go with it.
Exactly. If you don't already have one by the end of the night.
Right, right. Okay, that's awesome. I would love for you to share some tips for drinking better for someone who's maybe not like an amazing foodie or chef at home yet, but someone who's interested in drinking better and making more at home. What tips could you share for someone like that?
Focus on the foods. The
Okay.
individual whole food mixers that you use. You don't need a lot of them. If it's summer and you have some great mangoes you got, that alone is enough to make a really wonderful cocktail. You don't necessarily need a lot of fresh ingredients at once. You just want to have one or two on hand that you can work with. And it's so, we get very, just like with recipes for food, we think, well, this is what the recipe says, so this is what I have to do. But there's nothing wrong at all with thinking outside the box. And there's nothing wrong at all with taking your own needs and restrictions into a recipe. So we have syrups that we use in the book that are all made with different unrefined sugars, like maple syrup and honey and coconut sugar. But I also really wanted to make a point of having sugar-free one as well. It's made with a form of erythritol, which is a sugar alcohol that doesn't condense the way the normal version of it does. So if you want, a drink from the book, but it's a syrup that's sugar and you don't want a sugar one, use that other one instead. Like, just feel more free with what you're going to do because it's so unlikely you're going to do something wrong. Our instincts are there for a reason, and recipes are just there as guidelines and springboards. It was really difficult for me when I first started writing recipes professionally because I didn't want to tell people this is how you have to do it.
Right.
I would go with their gut that, like, no, I want to put in more cinnamon than that. No, I don't want to add oregano. I'd rather add cilantro. And that's been something that no matter how many recipes I write, I still encourage people, do what feels good. You're the one drinking it.
I love that you're addressing that because I feel like cocktails in particular are shrouded in this, for some, this aura of exclusivity and rigidity and rules and a lot of cultural stuff that's can feel constrictive or exclusionary to people who maybe don't know very well, like, oh, I don't know if I'm supposed to do this. I love that you're speaking to that. That's awesome.
I really a bartender to get a professional vantage point as well. And it was my, recipe ideas and ingredients, and then she helped standardize things. And I can't tell you how many times she was like, wait, we're going to do what? Because I broke the rules by doing it in a home mixology way rather than a professional mixology way. But I just came from a different perspective where if you buy a box of berries, you have to use them all. You're at a bar, you want to use, 3 or 4 per drink because you want it to go as far as possible. You know you're going to make 100 of that drink. But if you buy them at home, you kind of want to use as many as possible so that you don't end up with like 95 leftovers.
Right.
So I was heavy on the food. And that's a very different approach than what bars would do, and it ended up creating these just really like indulgent sweet cocktails that were just full of really quality, healthy ingredients. So yeah, don't be afraid to break those rules at all. I'm very much proof.
That's wonderful advice. I love that. So do you have any other tips for how to start incorporating more homemade into your drink menu at home?
Definitely trying one new thing at a time and using it in a number of different ways. One thing that I love that you're into is shrubs.
Oh, good.
So it's kind of a pain because you've got to let it sit on the counter for a couple days. Don't necessarily go all hog wild trying to make 20 of them and then like a whole, party's worth of drinks. Make one and then combine it with different alcohols. Just see what you like. So just experiment a little at a time with something new, and then before you know it, you know how to do lots of different things.
I love that. Yeah. See, I'm like all kinds on this shrub kick, but I just really enjoy them. And it turned out I'm not putting you on. Like people are like, oh, well, bring a jar of that to the barbecue. Or my sister's like, when are you going to bring me a jar of your pineapple shrub? And like, well, it's not that hard to make, you guys. Make it yourself. It's so easy. I'm glad that you speak to that. Just one thing at a time.
Anything that takes time is intimidating. But
True.
once you've done it and you've realize that it didn't really take any effort for it to sit on your counter for 2 days. You just like shook it every 12 hours. You're not intimidated anymore.
Right. Awesome. Do you have any I wanted to ask if you had any maybe not a secret ingredient or a secret recipe or one go-to thing if you were going to have someone special come over for dinner right now, what cocktail would you make?
I have more a surprising kind of methodology for doing it.
I'd love to hear.
From how I cook if I'm going to have people over. I really believe that if you're entertaining, you should not get stuck doing things when people are there because it's not fun. Especially if you're having a little party where it's like you and your person and another couple or two other couples or 5 or 10 people over. Being that person stuck in the kitchen is so stressful. So when I have people over for dinner, I do it on a day where I know I can start early enough that by the time everyone gets there, everything's just ready to go. I might have to throw it on plates, but it's all done. So I do the same things. When I have people over, I batch a signature cocktail for the evening ahead of time. And I try to make it an interesting one, and I often will try to do it with a mocktail base, like a shrub or an infusion or syrup or something, so that people who don't want to drink can just have that thing with sparkling water.
Perfect.
And back to the cocktail in a fridge, and when people come over, they'll bring wine. There's, usually we'll all have wine, so there's always wine as an option, and then here's this cocktail. And it's always something fun that I think will go with the food, but I have a whole pitcher of it that will last for the evening so that I am not making drinks when people are around.
That's a great idea. What a good tip. And then it's just all ready.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. And then you get to visit with your friends and family and enjoy your company and not be stuck in the freezer pulling ice cubes out. And
also it can create a really fun setup if you have the pitcher of the cocktail out and a bunch of glasses and a nice, ice vessel. And everyone just does it themselves. They grab the glass, they fill it with ice, pour the cocktail out of the pitcher.
No work. That's exactly what getting together should be. Is no work. That's awesome. I love that you mentioned just keeping in mind just whole foods. Like if you grab some awesome mangoes, and that's what you're drinking. That's awesome. So where can enthusiasts find you online and learn more about you and follow you on social media?
My website is arianecooks.com, which is arianeCooks.com. I have a newsletter that will pop up when you go to the website called The Thinking Girl's Guide. And it's recipes, lifestyle tips, all sorts of things that I do a monthly giveaway where if you leave a review on Amazon of The Thinking Girl's Guide to Drinking, and then you send me a link to the review, you get entered to win a copy of my first phone rock marathon.
Awesome.
So that is there. And then my Instagram is chef_Ariane, and my Facebook is chef Ariane Resnick, and my Twitter is @Ariane.
Wonderful. That's awesome. Thank you so much for your time and sharing all these really, really good tips. I really love your emphasis on the whole foods and making it easy and one thing at a time. You're a girl after my own heart. I love all of that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You too.